In this video, we will be starting with a new subject called research aptitude. So, in research aptitude, we will be studying about what research is, the meanings, types, objectives and characteristics of a research. Then what about positivism and post-positivism, that is a new subject in this subject. Then we will be studying the different methods of research, the quantitative, qualitative, descriptive, etc. So, the different methods of research, steps in research. Then the thesis and article writing, how to write references, how to prepare a thesis, how to prepare a project. So, thesis and article writing, applications of ICT in research, and about the ethics in research. So, we will be covering an all around about research, all around subjects about research, starting from the introduction and types of research until the applications of ICT and even the ethics based in research. So, let us start with the first module about what is research, what are the different types of research, what are the objectives and characteristics of research, and a new topic called the positivism and the post-positivism in research. So, let us start with what research is. What is research? It is there in the word itself, research. That means to search again, to investigate again, to study about something that is already out there in the world, to take it, to study it, and then to give some inferences, some suggestions, some findings to the world so that you can make a better thing out of it. So, that is what research means. It is a search for knowledge, a discovery of hidden truth. So, the truth is already there, but we are just discovering it. Here knowledge means information. That means we are actually digging up information, we are digging up knowledge, and then we are processing it, we are analyzing the data, we are collecting data, we are analyzing the data, we are actually finding some things, and we are giving some suggestion based on those findings. So, here the information or the knowledge can be taken from different books, different journals, websites, magazines, etc. And what happens is, after research it can lead to a new form of knowledge or contributions to existing knowledge. It can lead to new contributions in existing knowledge. So, that is just the introduction of what a research is. It means to investigate something and then process the data, analyze the data, and then give something back to the existing field of study. So, we are taking something from there, we are processing it, and we are giving back something better. So, there is a definition here, I'll read it out to you. Research is a systematized effort to gain new knowledge. So, it is an effort to gain new knowledge. It refers to a search for knowledge. It is scientific and unscientific search for information on a particular topic of issue. You can find it in a scientific way using different tests. You can find it in an unscientific way, maybe just through observations and all. It is also known as the art of investigation. So, that is what research is. Now, what are the objectives of research? Why do we conduct research? I'll just read out the points to you. Research is conducted to discover new facts, to verify and test important facts, to analyze an event, a process or a phenomenon, to develop new scientific tools, to find solution to scientific or non-scientific problems, and to overcome or solve problems in our daily life. So, that is why we conduct a research, to solve some problems, to identify some problems and then solve it using our gained knowledge, to discover new facts, to test the fact, to verify the facts whether it is true or not using many things. You might know what a hypothesis is, what H0 is, H1 is, null hypothesis. So, we are actually testing these hypotheses, if whether they are correct, whether they are wrong. We are verifying it, what all happens in our daily life. Now, research is not confined to science and technology only. So, mainly before and all, what happens is research, discovery, experimentation, invention, all these were confined or were limited to the area of science or maybe technology only. But nowadays what happens is, even in the in the field of language, even in the field of art, commerce, management, wherever you go, you can find research. There is always a possibility of finding new and new information. So, those are some objectives of research, why we are doing the research. Now, coming to the main part of this module is the types of research. So, there are many types of research. You might find maybe 20-25 types of research that you can define something, or you can differentiate between like 20 or 25 types of research. But here we are only we are discussing about only 7 or 8 main types of research. So the first one is fundamental research. I'll list it out to you at first. The fundamental research, applied research, action research, descriptive research, analytical research, quantitative research, qualitative research, and the conceptual research. So eight main types of research we will be discussing here. So the first one is fundamental research. So what is fundamental research? It is also called as basic research. So when you hear the term basic research, when you hear the term fundamental research, when you hear the term pure research, all these means the same. So it is also known as basic or pure research. It helps to generate new information. So we are trying to get new information. We are not studying on something that is already there. We are trying to generate new information in a fundamental fashion. So it is based on the principle of generalization, or maybe experimenting in a laboratory, and then you discover something new, or reading about something and then something pops up into your mind, something new. So that is actually called fundamental research. It may not lead to immediate practice. So you're not searching for something, or whatever you have discovered, whatever your research, you're not using it immediately. You're not using it immediately, but this happens over time. What happens is, you're reading something, you're experimenting in your lab, suddenly something comes up. So you find something new, you discover something new. Maybe you cannot use it at the same time, maybe you cannot use it immediately, but it's still fine. You have discovered something new out of your research. Those type of research is called fundamental research. It can be found in two ways, either in the form of a new theory or development of some existing theory. So you might find something new, or you might find a development in something which is already there. So that is called fundamental research, which is the basic research, where you research something and find out something new, or find out something new about an existing topic. So that is fundamental research. The next one is applied research. So applied research means whatever you have taken from the fundamental research, you apply it in actual operation. That is called applied research. It provides convincing evidence to the usefulness of basic research. So we are actually finding the evidence how we have come upon the fundamental research, and researching about that and using it is actually called applied research. So it aims at collecting data for verifying facts, and it helps to find the solution for real life problems. So whatever we have found out in the fundamental research, if we can apply it, that is actually called applied research. So we try to test it, we try to find out evidences, we try to find out proofs, we try to use this research or the knowledge that we have found out in real life problems. So that is called applied research. Next one is action research. So this is action oriented. It's there in the name itself, action research. So it is undertaken to find an immediate solution to a problem. For example, if you want to know if the water in your home is pure or not, you immediately take action. Test the purity of the water, you test the acid levels, the base levels, everything. So you need some immediate action to a problem, you go for action research. It is undertaken to find an immediate solution to a problem, and sometimes it is taken by the researcher himself, sometimes the action is taken by an authority or someone else. It's fine. So it, for example, taking necessary steps in an area for the purity of water, just as I said, or something like that. So you need action, you need immediate action, or you need immediate results, you go for action research. The next one is descriptive research. So as the name suggests, we are describing about something, we are giving the description about something or some topic. It is a description of the state of affairs as they are. So we are describing some truth, we are taking the truth which others may not research in that area. So we are researching in that area, we collect the facts, we collect the data, we collect the knowledge, and describe these truths to the others. So that is what is called the descriptive research. The methods used in descriptive research are field surveys, case studies, interviews, etc. So we try to interview someone, we try to dig the facts about someone, and then give it to those who need. So we are actually describing what a state of affair is, or we are describing what a matter is. That is descriptive research. Now the next one is analytical research. So here we are analyzing an information that is already available. This is based on the use of information that is already available and making an analysis. So we are actually studying in depth about a particular topic, we are analyzing that topic, we are using some tests, we are using some of our critical thinking, and then we are actually verifying with. That is what is called analytical research. We are analyzing something. So data analysis, that is also a part of our project, or that is also part of our research, as you know. So what we do is we analyze a topic, we analyze, we take some research, we take upon research, we get some data, we analyze that data, we go in depth inside that data, we try to verify stuff, we try to verify the hypothesis, we try to conduct tests on it, and then we present our findings. So that is actually called an analytical research. The next one is quantitative and qualitative research. Quantitative research, as we know, it is concerned with numbers or quantity, and which can be expressed in numbers. So it is actually deductive in nature and begins with a given theory, and then we go on deducing from it. So any research that has, that can be expressed in numbers, that is concerned with numbers, is called quantitative research. Next one is qualitative research. So it is which cannot be explained by numbers, which we need something beyond numbers. That is actually qualitative research. So for example, let's say the honesty of a person, or the preference or taste or preference of customers. So in all these research, it is actually a qualitative data. So what happens is we are not actually checking the numbers, just like balance sheet, just like trade balances. So we are not actually checking the numbers of the research or the subject matter. We are actually checking the qualitative area. As I said, the honesty of a person, the taste and preference of customers, the brand loyalty of customers. So these we cannot actually contain them in quantitative data. So we use the qualitative research in those matters. The next one, the last one, is conceptual research. So these are usually undertaken by scientists or thinkers or philosophers to reinterpret an existing idea. So there is already an existing idea there, and these people, the philosophers or thinkers, they are not satisfied with it. So they want to create something new. So that is when conceptual research comes into action. They don't involve any experiments, they don't involve any tests or any verifications and all. They just think about it, and then they give their findings or suggestions to the already existing field of data. They try to modify the field of data. So these are some type of research that we've studied right now. The first one, as I said, the fundamental research, the pure research or the basic research, all three are the same. The next one is applied research, action research, descriptive research, analytical research, quantitative research, qualitative research, and the last one, as we said, the conceptual research. So apart from this, we have just one or two types of research. It's not that important, but let's study about it. The first one is one-time research or the time series research. So one-time research is a research that we conduct for just one time, for a single use. But for continuous use, we are conducting 2 or 3 more researches on the same topic in the same area. So that is called a time series research. Then we have a laboratory research or a field research or simulation research. All these are same. So what happens is we try to create a real life example like in a laboratory, like what we do in simulation, and then conduct research on that basis. This is called a laboratory research or a simulation research. Then we have explanatory research, which means we are trying to explain about a topic. Just like descriptive research, we are trying to increase our horizon of knowledge. That is called the explanatory research. So these are some types of research, the main types of research, as I said, and some other types of research. Next, we'll study about a researcher. So a researcher is someone, as we know, who conducts a research or who is taking upon the activity of research. So what are the good qualities or the qualities that should be there in a good researcher? So these are just points, and also it can be understood better. The first one is he should be friendly with the respondents. Then there should be least discouragement. The researcher should not be discouraged if something does not go his way. So he should be a person of least discouragement, or if someone discourages him, he should not be that much easily discouraged, because research is a very, very intensive process. There are many factors that will make us discouraged, so we should not be discouraged so easily. Then the next one is free from prejudice. So we should not have a prejudiced mind while going into research. Then There should be capacity of depth information, the capacity to collect. He should have the capacity to collect more and more information in little time. So we will only have a very little time. So in that little time, we should not be, we should not postpone our stuff. We should not be like a procrastinator. We should just, try to collect more and more information with that little amount of time that we've got. Then he should be accurate and truthful. His findings should be accurate and truthful. He or she should be a keen observer. He or she should be careful in listening. They should listen to the respondents carefully, because one small mistake will make the things worse in case of his research. Then the researcher and the research should be economical. Just because you have a lot of money with you doesn't mean that you should carry out an expensive research. It's just that you should be economical. Then there should be low care of the disapprovals of the society. Just like the discouragement point, there should be low care of the discouragement or the disapprovals from the society. The society, what happens is they try to discourage you, they disapprove you, but in many cases we shouldn't mind them, or we shouldn't give much care about the disapprovals of the society. Then he or she should try to be an expert in the subject. He or she should be free from hasty statements, from making hasty statements. They should be patient and calm. Then he or she should be good in conversation. They must have clear terminology so that there is no confusion for the respondents. They should be trained in research tools, many research tools. Maybe it is data analysis, just like SPSS softwares, or data presentation like bar charts and graphs, or maybe even the tests like F tests, T tests, or chi-square test, anything. But they should be very well trained in research tools, even preparing a common questionnaire. So they should be very well trained about that. Then they must be analytical, they must be equal and just. They must propose equality and justice. So these are some qualities of a good researcher. He or she should be, the main thing is that he or she should be very patient. As I said, there will be disapprovals and discouragements from one part, and from the other part there might be a non-cooperation from the part of the respondent. So patience is a very, very, very important virtue in the case of research. And as I said before, it should be economical. It should be the truth. It should be accurate. He or she should be a keen observer, and points like those. So those are the qualities of a good researcher. Now, what are the qualities of a good research? The characteristics of a good research. We told about researcher. Now, what about the characteristics of a good research? A good research should be systematic. It means that it should follow the procedure, all the normal or all the important procedures of a research. It should be empirical. That means it should be based on observation or experience. It should be critical. Critical means it should be able to resist the critics from the other parties. Other parties, they try to look at our research or our project through a critical eye or through a critical mind. They will scrutinize our topic in a critical way. So our project or our research should be able to resist that critical scrutiny. Then it should be objective. It means that there should be no bias. It should be impartial. The research should be accurate. It should be logical. It should be realistic. It should deal with real life problems. It should be valid. It should be reliable. Reliable means similar results should be there with every test. It's not that you test it at one time, it will give you another result. You test it later on, it will give you another result. No, it should be reliable and should give similar results every time. It should be rigorous. Rigorous means it should be thorough and careful. We should be very much thorough and careful that there is nothing wrong in our research. Then it should be credible. People should be able to trust our research. It should be cyclical also. There should be a new scope for a beginning, a scope for a new beginning. So once our research ends, there should be a scope for more research or a scope for a new beginning. And then we start with that research, and then it goes on. At the end of that research, there should be a scope for a new research. So it goes on in a cyclical way. That is a characteristic of a good research. Then it should be replicable, means the findings that we get, the answers that we get, the solutions that we get from our research should be replicable to use in decision making process in our real life. So these are some characteristics of a good research. Now the last area in the first module is the positivism and the post-positivism in research. So this is comparatively a new topic in this area. So positivism and post-positivism is actually an opposite opposite concepts to each other. So positivism means believing only which can be proved, believing only which has evidence and which can be scientifically proved, while post positivism means that not only scientific proofs, common sense or people assumptions or perceptions should also be taken into consideration. So these are actually two concepts in the research area. So positivism means recognizing only which can be scientifically proven. So which all cannot be scientifically proven, the perceptions of a customer or the taste and preference of a customer, all those things should be kept aside, and only recognizing those which can be scientifically proven. So the problem with that is, if it should be scientifically proven, it means that it should have a mathematical or a logical proof. So only quantitative proofs are taken into consideration in positivism. But it's not like that. Human beings are unpredictable, human beings are not always quantifiable. So just quantitative data, using quantitative data is not actually very logical, but that is what is there in positivism. Then science is seen as a way to get to the truth in positivism. Conclusions should be based on verifiable facts only. Research is mainly quantitative, and the results are also quantitative and are not based on judgment. So here there is no type of suggestions or no types of assumptions or perceptions or anything like that. Just mathematical proofs, quantitative proofs, and science is actually considered in positivism. While in post positivism, what happens is this rejects the central idea of positivism. So in positivism they say that science is the truth, or mathematics is the truth, or whatever we have or know should have a very much scientific evidence or a scientific proof. No, but post positivism says that no, none of these are true, because it rejects the idea of rejects the central idea of positivism, and it argues that in post positivism it argues that scientific reasoning and common sense are more or less the same. Scientific reasoning also comes from common sense, and common sense also comes from scientific reasoning, and these are almost the same, and they just differ in degree, just that. So both are actually the same, and we should be able to think independently and not only based on mathematical. We should be able to think independently, not mathematically, not scientifically, not only based on proofs, because here it gives importance to individual perceptions, it gives importance to individual assumptions. Human beings are not only a scientific creature, human beings are actually a perceptual creature, they are a social creature. So avoiding all those and just taking the idea of scientific proofs or mathematical proofs, it does not work anymore. That is the argument of people in post positivism. So in positivism it means that we are only based on science, only based on maths, only based on proofs, evidence and verifiable facts, whereas in post positivism it says that along with all these we need perceptions, we need common sense, we need assumptions, and all those which cannot be scientifically proved or mathematically proved. So this is the first module of research. We discussed what research is, some types of the types of research, characteristics of a research, who a researcher is and what are his good qualities, and about positivism and post positivism.